What's up? Colby Sharp, 5th grade teacher. Welcome to my channel where I try to help kids fall in love with reading. One way that we do that is by reading amazing books 12 months a year, not just in school. My 5th graders are about to walk out of the classroom into spring break and enjoy a week away from me and all of the things that we do in here. Hopefully they get some rest because we got a lot of work to do at the end of the year. I'm going to be sharing with you the books that they are reading as we begin winter break. They're going to be leaving with a lot more than one book, but I'm going to share with you the books that they're going to be reading before winter break. This is like our last thing we're going to do before they leave. This is a book list printable that is in the new educator guide for Mr. Shu, John Shu and Lauren Castillo's. This is a story. I created the educator guide, and part of the reason that I made some of the sheets is because I want to use them with my own students. So what they're going to do is they're going to create a spring break reading list, and then they're going to share all of the books that they're reading. They're going to do like the spines and color. It's going to make it look all fun. It's a perfect right before a spring break activity. So I will, after they've done this, come back and put that at the end of the video before I upload it. So let's go see where my 5th graders are kicking things off with a little not historical fiction, a little nonfiction. Titanic, Voices from the Disaster by Deborah Hopkinson. I've said this many times this year from different books. Titanic is always popular with kids. Excited to see a kid just checked it out from the library. Can't wait to hear what he thinks. Next up, Return of the King. This amazing reader. It's like, Mr. Sharp, do you think I need to have other books? Because I got some reading to do. I'm like, just in case, take some other books for spring break. And he's going to start the Amulet graphic novel series, which might be perfect. You know, you're reading all this, you want like a little bit of a break from the heaviness of this to dig into that. That's exciting. One of my favorite historical fiction authors on planet Earth, Jennifer L. Holm, Turtle in Paradise. This Newbery Honor-winning book is one of the best. Oh, I love Turtle. Beans. What a book. Wings of Fire, working our way through book 4. This reader's pretty much every time I do one of these videos, he's reading Wings of Fire. Nothing wrong with that. And then Inside Out and Back Again, another Newbery Honor. Wow, my kids are just reading some distinguished literature. Inside Out and Back Again, this amazing book is phenomenal. The story of a young girl coming to the United States from Vietnam shortly after the Vietnam War and just everything that she has to deal with. People aren't really nice to her. There's a second book coming out, a sequel to this that's coming out here in May of 2023. So I'm really excited to have a reader reading Inside Out and Back Again so that I can hand her the next book. Catching Fire, The Hunger Games. Excitement and buzz and just intensity has kind of captivated a few of my readers. This kid is reading it. He told me that he's going to turn the next age, I think 11 in May, and he's already got like budgeted some of the money he knows he's going to get from his grandma to buy the series. Isn't that the sweetest? 2 months before her birthday, a kid is already budgeting what books they can buy. We're doing something right, teachers. Let's go, Hatchet. What more can I say? One of the greatest books ever. Brought so many kids to reading. Phenomenal, phenomenal book. My favorite book as a child, and I love seeing a new generation of readers falling in love. My life as a book, I have this reader who is super into series. He just devours series more than any other kid. Like, he'll start a series and just boom, plow through it. And he had just finished the 13-story Treehouse series from Andy Griffiths. He's recently finished Timmy Failure, and he's looking for a series. I think there's like 10 of these, and a lot of the topics are, he's a quite humorous young man, so I thought that he would love this. So excited to see what he thinks of that. Double Fudge, my Fudge reader, still rocking and rolling, almost done with this. Very exciting to see that old classic. And The Land of Stories. Look how close she is to finishing. I'm so proud of this reader. I actually gave the lunch keynote at the Michigan Reading Association annual conference last weekend, and I got a chance to talk about this reader, and watching her fall in love with reading has been one of the greatest joys of this school year. It's just amazing what can happen when we create community, when we give kids time to read, when kids talk about books with each other, when we have access to tons of titles. Magical things happen. And this magical book is helping a girl find her way towards reading. Let's go! This kid just checked out the Bird and Squirrel on Fire book from the library, which they did. And they were so excited to see it. I don't think that they knew that this Bird and Squirrel book existed. Always fun to see a kid find a book in a series that they didn't know existed, of a beloved series. Science comics. If you haven't read these, I mean, look how many awesome titles there are. So many. Science Comics Cats. Awesome. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Pretty intense. This is not in our classroom library. This girl and her mom, every time she finishes a book, they go Target together, which just warms my heart. Warms my heart. I wish every kid had that opportunity, and I love that she does. And she's read so much. She read a little at the beginning of the year, then a little more, and then it's just like, boom, let's go. This reader's about, look at this. This is loved book right here. That's the way it's supposed to be. The war, I finally won. Kimberly's books have been really popular the last couple of months in class, and it's really, really encouraging and exciting, and it just fills my heart with joy to see a reader fall so much for these characters in this story. Nonfiction reader here. He's been reading a lot of nonfiction lately, making his way through this Oceans book. Isn't it just giant? And he's not like flippant. Like, this kid is reading every single word, looking at every single text feature. He's actually created, I wish it was here, a book himself about ants, and he's got like, it started just like these little cards, and then it turned into, he put it on paper, and then he had it in like a folder, and then he got like a binder with like a laminated front. Like, this kid is using this to help him create some awesome things in his own writing, which makes me so happy. Mr. Lemoncello's very first game. If you haven't read the Mr. Lemoncello books, you should. If you read those a while ago, this is a prequel to the original series. It's when Luigi Lemoncello was a kid. It's phenomenal. I think kids could actually start with this one, or they could start with the original first one, which takes place like 20 or 30 years after it. Really, really fun book. Kids who like mysteries and puzzles and all that. Such a fun read. This kid's been reading some biographies, which is really awesome. So why not read The Girl Who Named Pluto? It's fun. Like, he wasn't really like feeling the biographies. I'm like, just try it. Maybe you like it. It seems to be 3 days now. I think this is his 3rd day of reading a bunch of picture book biographies. Book 5. Wow. And this kid has not been reading Wings of Fire all year, like my other Wings of Fire reader. But since he started reading it, it is just, he is on a mission. He just reads, I don't know, maybe like almost 100 pages a day. You just can't get enough. So that's very exciting to see. Refugee and Grenade at the same table. Look, they're sitting next to each other, influencing each other's reading preferences and selections. What more could a guy want? See his readers helping each other out. Very exciting. Alan's books have really taken off this year. I know his books have always been extremely popular with like 5th and 6th, 7th, 8th graders, but not so much in my class. This is the first, actually towards the end of last year. But for my kids, so many of them have found their way into Alan's books through Ground Zero. So that topic that they're already really interested in, 9/11, and they just can't get enough since after they read that one. So I'm really proud of these kids. I'm really, really proud of the work that they're doing. Now, how many kids have read this book in your classroom? Most of them? Me too. We have a reader rereading it, which is always a joy. We were in the library just a little while ago, and I saw this book, and I thought of one of my readers. I'm like, oh, look, cardboard. I'm like, have you read this? He's like, no. But what was cool is I didn't have to say anything else. Like 4 other kids came up and just went on and on and on about cardboard and why you should read it and how it's so awesome. How it's their favorite graphic novel. They loved it so much. So we've got like quite this community of readers. Very fun here. This girl's found this series. She just finished Invisible Emmy earlier this week. Now she's on to Just Jamie. I could do without the pencil bookmark. But as she's reading, we'll take it. We'll take it. I Survived 9/11. This kid actually just got back from visiting Ground Zero on a family trip. He's like, man, I should have read this book before I went to 9/11. I'm like, you're reading it now. That's what matters. Lincoln Hudd, you may know these brothers from their work in Old Truck and Old Boat. 2 beautiful books. They've created a chapter book here, and it's got like a mix of comics and prose. Really fun book about these 2 boys and their wild imaginations. And this, my friend Margie Culver sent this, the way things work, and they're eating it up. So this is one of those books that you can't just like read by yourself if there's other people around. This is a very loud book because when you're reading, you just want to tell everyone and show everyone and point to everything. So isn't that great though, when kids want to do that? So those are the books that my 5th graders are reading. I'm going to show you now some of their to-read list on those papers that I was telling you about, which is kids just left for spring break. You can see here they created these little bookshelves of what they're going to be reading during break. And what was really, really cool was when they were turning them in, I started like hanging them on the board here, and then they just found so many connections between what other kids were reading and what was popular, and just seeing what other kids wanted to read and hearing them like have these conversations together. It just kept snowballing, and more kids were adding more and more books to their to-read list, which is what it's all about. It felt like a classroom filled with readers excited to go on a reading adventure as they head into spring break. I hope you are finding things to read, whether you're on spring break or a normal week, whatever it is. I hope that you are finding amazing stories. Look at all these great books. My name is Colby Sharp. I hope you have an awesome, fantastic